Independent thought, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Oil prices haven't been this high in 7 years, and gas prices are following right behind. New numbers out from the Energy Department show the average price of regular unleaded in the U.S. is now at $3.32 a gallon, up 6 cents in just the past week, and $1.17 higher per gallon than this time last year. In California now, the average price for regular unleaded is $4.34 a gallon and rising, but in many areas of California, it's hard to find unleaded for below $5 a gallon.
Yeah. Take California out of it. Went up another 9 cents overnight by my house. Normally this time of year, we're spending $2.20. I'm now spending $3.30 at my house, or $3.30 something. And here in Phoenix, because I live a bit of a ways outside of Phoenix, I would be spending $3.50, $3.60. That is insane. And it matters. And it absolutely matters, because you've got to think about what we're heading into. We're heading into the winter period. Why this matters? Because as oil prices go, let me tell you what it's like to be a broker on that side of it, right? Being in the energy markets, what I do know is the leader of the pack will always be oil. And as oil drags one direction or the other, it drags everybody like a magnet, just pulling everything behind it. So as these things start to roll up, you know what you're going to find? Natural gas and heating oil already starting to take off. Imagine the shock this winter when people see their heating oil prices and their natural gas prices skyrocket. What is that going to be like? Oh, my goodness me. Jen Psaki.
We are continuing to press through member countries of OPEC, even as we are not a member, to address the supply issue and work to address it here as well. I would also note that what we're also working to address is more of a logistics issue of how we are moving supply around the country, which means there are shortages in some places and not others, and that's something that we are also working to address. We are certainly well aware of the impact on any increase in gasoline prices or any cost on the American people, and we're going to continue to use every lever at our disposal.
Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. That's a lot of words for saying we really don't know what to do. Because, you know, California refines the way that it refines, and they've got winter blends and they've got summer blends. Hurricane Ida and a few others have made things worse in certain areas because of refining. It is going to be an issue. We're still short truck drivers getting stuff from point A to point B. We had a huge outage. Remember when they were, hijacked? Remember that? Yeah, that was a night. There are a lot of things that go into this, but at the end of the day, nobody cares. They're looking for somebody to be pissed at, and they're looking at Biden. Biden, you know what? The other guy was a jerk. He tweeted mean things. He was a giant meanie. You haven't got COVID under control. You're putting mandates in place when you said you weren't going to. You crapped the bed in Afghanistan. Immigration is a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. We've got inflation, shrinkflation. We've got a supply chain issue. At the end of the day, nobody cares what the reality is. Is all of this his fault? No. Could he do some things? I think with the supply chain, yeah, I think he's trying. And by the way, the supply chain is an absolute debacle, not all on him. You're looking out there and you're seeing these ships out there, by the way. How about this, huh?
Never before have 100 cargo ships been anchored and waiting off the coast of Southern California. That new record hit on Monday, beating the last record set of 97 ships in September, and 45 more cargo ships are set to arrive over the next 3 days. The ports report regular and contingency anchorages are full. There's no more room. Before the COVID supply crunch issues, only an average of 17 ships would normally be anchored waiting to come in.
That's insane. I used to live right there. You'd see the ships out there all the time, and they'd roll on in. But it is crazy to see what it is now. It is crazy. a lot of that is the perfect storm, right? You have a finite amount of workers, and they're still having trouble getting some down there. You have only so many cranes that operate at a time. Again, $250,000 a year. You'd think you'd have more cranes, but the reality is there's only so many cranes you have out there. And on the other side of stuff, you're talking about a backlog for some things that are a year plus. So it is the perfect storm. He went there. I think he did some stuff. Only so much he's going to be able to do with the oil prices. And this is where you start to get tougher with your OPEC pals, right? Hey, guys, do I need to open up our reserves? Do I need to flood the market to make oil super cheap? Can you guys turn the spigot on a little bit more? But even at that point, that only takes care of some refining. There's a lot of things, but we don't care. We look and we say, we don't care. We care about the fact that when I go to the store, the shelves I'm seeing, they don't have a lot of stuff on there. When I go to the gas station, I'm paying more. I'm looking for a scapegoat. That's what America does. And usually you get a year, right? We don't do that. Our patience has worn thinner and thinner each and every time a new president comes in. Never even had anything with, at least he got somewhat of a honeymoon. But even the mainstream media can't hide the fact that people are pissed. People are angry. People are frustrated. And they're looking around. Can't find enough workers. Doesn't matter what I pay. Can't find enough workers. Stuff's getting more expensive. Not enough stuff out there that's available. And oh, by the way, even if you offer me more money between childcare and how much more things are costing, it's a break even, if that. Like sports. No longer care what's going on at this moment in time. I'm looking at who? The coach. I'm looking at the quarterback. You guys are supposed to be the stars. Well, we're 0-6. The quarterback isn't very good. Somebody's got to get the blame. Somebody. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Hope you are doing well. Oh, my goodness. The chaos, the craziness of what's going on with the coronavirus. I want to give you guys numbers here. I like data. There's a great book out there, and it's called How to Lie with Statistics. Have you never seen this book? Book's 50s, like 54, 55. Daryl Huff wrote it, and it's very interesting. You go through it, and he teaches you how to lie with statistics, essentially. How you can take a statistic, a graph, and how you can twist it and make it look a certain way. Right, they did that with climate change. Remember climate change? Well, there's a hockey stick like that. But that was only over a little certain period of time, and that was 1 or 2 degrees. Then all of a sudden, when you open it up, you're like, wait a minute, that's nothing. How to lie with statistics is real. And remember, statistics are only as good as who's delivering the statistics. How real is this? But here's something. COVID-19 deaths per 100,000 people. And this is pretty interesting. 80 plus. 65 plus, 50 plus. If you look at these numbers, let me tell you, the dominating thing is older, unvaccinated people, bad. That's it. Of the vaccinated, about 11 per 100,000, 80 plus. 55 unvaccinated. This isn't percent. This is just people. When you start looking at that, though, you start thinking to yourself, well, wait a minute. That's crazy. Those numbers are ridiculous. Yeah, they are. They are ridiculous. I mean, at the end of the day, age is a big thing. We saw that with Colin Powell yesterday. And in the last interview he did, he said, don't be sorry for me. I never lost a day in my life. He was 84 years old, passed away yesterday. And they talked about, stuff came out that he had multiple myeloma. He had Parkinson's. He was battling several different things. And then, I saw the people out there going, see, vaccines don't work. And then the people on the left are, he died of COVID. No, the reality is COVID may have pushed him over the finish line. He might have died testing positive for COVID. But at the end of the day, the cancer and everything else was the catalyst for all of this. But when you look at these numbers, it's insane that we shut down for the time that we did. And I understand at the beginning of this thing, we didn't know what it was, right? And by the way, I continue to say this. I'm big on getting the shot. Somebody got mad at me yesterday. Oh, sure, you're not I'm vaccinated. Absolutely. Yeah, I am vaccinated, or whatever you want to call it. I got the shot. Pretty damn healthy. Don't smoke, don't drink. I'm pretty fit. Could be fitter, but pretty darn fit. I look at these things and it frustrates me. We're still fighting over something that we shouldn't be fighting over. It's time to live our lives with this thing, through this thing, around this thing, now above this thing. But while we have things like this going on, and then you couple the fact that we look over and we see a supply chain that is broken, a government that's not doing the things I think they could be doing at a time when we need government to act because, well, unfortunately, there's not a lot us as are going to be able to do because so much of it is regulation and BS. How could you not be frustrated? And how could you not look and say, hey, this coach over here doesn't seem to get it. This coach over here seems to be failing. This coach over here, he better figure something out. Not happening. Not anytime soon. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Love hearing from you. A lot of stuff to get to today, including maybe the most thought-provoking of all of the people who have not gotten vaccinated that are athletes, stars, whatever it is. Absolutely brilliant way to defend his reason why he didn't get vaccinated. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Dealing with car repairs is a lose-lose situation. Do you guys realize that more and more people are struggling with the fact that they can't get a car that they're interested in because it's just not available? They don't want to go out and buy a car because cars are through the roof at this point in time, especially used cars, so they want to hold on to theirs. The best way to do that is protect yourself. Don't be in a situation where you're caught, empty-handed, if you will. That's why you get Car Shield. Taking care of your car and your cover repairs with Car Shield's administrator, so easy. Seriously, save thousands with Car Shield. Absolutely you could. How do you do it? Well, first and foremost, you go to carshield.com/Benson. When you go there, you're going to save 10%. With Car Shield, you get to choose the mechanic of your choice. You get trip reimbursement, rental coverage, roadside assistance from coast to coast, all at no additional charge. And it doesn't matter if your car has 5,000 or 150,000 miles on it. Protecting your car at this moment in time is so vital. Car Shield's helped over 1 million drivers. That's why they are America's #1 auto protection company. Car Shield is truly a win-win. Hey, I use it. You should do the same thing. They'll help you get back on track, especially if you get into a pinch and you don't want to be on the hook paying thousands. Get coverage today. See why Car Shield cars go farther. Visit carshield.com/Benson. Save 10%. carshield.com/Benson. Save yourself 10% right there. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
Irreverent? Yeah. So what? It's the Chad Benson Show.
We're talking. All right, we're talking.
You're going to have a resolution by the end of the week, it sounds like?
We're talking. We're going to make some progress.
Senator Sanders, you prepared to make some deep cuts to climate change and other things like that?
We're talking. All right, we're talking.
We're talking. We're talking. We're talking. We're talking. We're talking. We're talking. No, we're talking. What are you talking about? Well, we're talking. What are we talking about? I don't know. We're not. We're pretending we're talking. It's very interesting. So you got Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema. Both are holding back a lot of stuff, right? Manchin obviously lives in coal country. Coal is important to him. That's so much of what his state is based upon. And so On the other side, you've got somebody like Kirsten Sinema, where the climate is a big deal for her. So they're going to, they kind of have that. But then there's a lot of other things in here that they don't like. And it's funny the way that the media portrays it's all about those two. Don't worry about the other, the Republicans who want no part of so much of the stuff. They're all of it. They got 16 Republicans in the Senate to vote for the $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill. They got 16 Republicans say, yeah, you know what? It was bipartisan, as you're going to get in this day and age. But they will not bring it because they want all the stuff. And they don't seem to want to give in. And they're living in this world of insanity and delusion. And it seems to be that there's very few people out there who want to check some people's power inside of their own party.
And I will say this, please, Democrats nationwide, listen to me. It's really important to understand you were so radically out of step with mainstream voters. There's a reason why a guy from West Virginia and sort of conservative moderate from Arizona made you the majority. If I had any excuse to vote against the Democrats, I would do it because they are so progressive and so wildly out of step with mainstream America.
Yeah, they are. They are. From defund the police to to some of this insanity with, the wokeness and the wackiness to, you name it, they are out of touch in so many ways. And part of that is because, who's really dominates that talking points are people who are uber progressive who live on the coast. They don't live in middle America. They're Democrats in middle America are not Democrats in Berkeley. Democrats in middle America are about strong union jobs, right? They may be fine with choice, but I don't think they're buying 98 different genders. Difference in that. We'll see. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program, Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Where does this end? We're talking about a federal mandate for a shot. As you know, there's waning effectiveness of these shots. Are people going to be required by the federal government to take a shot every single year for the rest of their lives? Americans need to come to grips with the unconstitutional overreach by the Biden administration.
Governor Abbott there. Hey, this is a fair question here, right? I know people don't want to hear, but you just don't care. No, fair question. How long does it last? All the times I hear stuff nowadays about, you got to do it. I never hear the sunsetting of it all, right? I never hear the sunsetting of something. It doesn't happen. It doesn't. It doesn't happen. Okay, mask mandates in schools. Okay, sounds good. Mask mandates in school. All right, fine. That's what you want to do. Again, I leave each state to their own. I don't want to fight it. Let it happen. If that's what the states want to do, that's totally fine. No problems. Let the state do it. Zero problem. So, but it's not forever, not in perpetuity. It's not just, it's going to last forever. Okay, where does it end? Like, what's the threshold where it's like, if it falls below this, we're good? Are we going to run indoors every time there's something? Are we going to shut things down every time there's an issue? We can't live our life in start, stop. So that's, I think, a fair question. Last night, getting ready to watch the football game, which, by the way, oh, God, can we just talk about for a second? Just quick. First of all, I picked the Bills. Josh Allen slipped at the end. I would have gone for it too. I'm not kicking the field goal. You got arguably the best quarterback in the NFL. He's 6 foot quadrillion, and he slipped. It happens. You move on. They're still, I think, the best team in the AFC, but outside of Baltimore. But Derrick Henry, right? Derrick Henry, the Predator. This guy is just a incredible player, a beast. I was watching guys in the fourth quarter, right? You want to talk about COVID? There are guys out there who are making business decisions. They're like, I want to play football next week, so I'm going to try to untie his shoe as he runs by me because I am not going to stand there and be a highlight for the next 6 days on TikTok because he grabs my helmet and throws me into the crowd. Oh, God. So I'm watching, just want to throw that out there. I'm watching, I don't know if it's Joy Reid or because we have like 5 TVs in there. Normally, during the nights, we have, I've got golf on or we're watching Shark Tank and we're trying to figure out, hey, are they going to give him the money or what? But I saw over on the left-hand side, I think it was Dr. Lena, it might have been on with Joy Reid or Chris Hansen. They're like, why are conservatives so excited about natural immunity? Why are they pushing natural immunity or some BS like that? I'm like, what are you talking about? Natural immunity, every epidemiologist has said we will never get to that quote-unquote threshold that people want to get to. Remember, we are never going to eliminate or eradicate this. Chad, that's baloney. Somebody told me the other day, no, we will. No, we won't. As soon as everybody gets vaxxed, it won't matter. Why? Because it goes from animal to human. We have never eliminated anything that's gone from animal to human. It just doesn't happen. And vice versa. So we're not. Remember, it was like once you get to 60 or 70%, then we'll say, well, we're nearing that level. Some states are at that level. And if you toss in why does natural immunity matter? Because it matters. I keep going back to what is it about antibodies? Is it your kind of antibodies or is it any antibodies? Because that's, to me, is the frustrating thing. If you've had it and you've got the antibodies, who cares? Well, this study over here, the Israeli study was 700,000 people. Your study's 14 or 2,200. So who am I to go on? But it gets frustrating. And then, of course, you've got all of the resignations that are happening across the board, right? Mayor Lori Lightfoot.
Mandates are pitting some police officers against their own city.
A showdown between cities and powerful police unions is playing out from coast to coast over vaccine mandates.
This notion that individual officers get to be insubordinate as they choose and pick and choose, we're not having that.
Chicago's police department now telling officers they must get special permission for time off as a vaccine mandate takes effect, and warning officers who refuse to share their vaccine status they could be fired.
Ooh, could be fired. They could be fired. It's a possibility. It is. It's absolutely a possibility. Some people are angry, right? You got Francis Collin here from the National Institute on Health, talking about what's going on at Baltimore, Chicago, everywhere else.
In Baltimore, the police union telling officers not to reveal their vaccine status, citing a lack of communication between city officials and the bargaining unit.
This is not a good thing to mix up a public health crisis and a vaccine that can save lives amongst things like bargaining power. This is the wrong hill to die on.
Well, I'll tell you what. Here's something for the average person. Freedom is the hill you should die on. Well, Chad, are you saying? No, I'm just saying, again, I am absolutely pro getting the shot. I look at the numbers, I look at the data, I look at the science, and I say, especially if you have comorbidities, getting the shot, because it's not if, but when you catch this, is going to save your life, especially if you've got medical issues. No problem with telling people to do that. Contact your doctor, make sure, because I don't want somebody to come back and go, I had it and I got really sick or whatever. I'm just like, whatever. Contact your doctor, but it's a smart thing to do. It is. Listen to this trooper here. Washington State, which is also having serious issues.
This is my final sign-off. After 22 years of serving the citizens of the state of Washington, being asked to leave because I am dirty. I've worked sick. I've played sick. Numerous fatalities, injuries. We've buried lots of friends over these years. I'd like to thank you guys. I'd like to thank the citizens of Yakima County, as well as my fellow officers within the Valley. This is it. So, State 1034, this is the last time you'll hear me in a state patrol car. And Jay Inslee can kiss my ass.
Kiss my ass. Yesterday, Washington State, their coach, highest paid public employee, has decided he is not going to get vaccinated, and he is no longer with said program in the middle of his second year. He was hired from Hawaii. They went 1-3 last year with some weird schedule. Again, there was no real games. There's no real practice. It was his first year with the team. This year, they've won 3 in a row. They looked like they were going in the right direction, and he just said no. He applied for religious exemption, and no.
I was hopeful all along that maybe after a month or two, there'd be a change of heart, and Pat would call and say, hey, I know it's been a little tough on the university, but guess what? They elected, those individuals on our staff elected to get the vaccine. That just didn't take place.
So Nick Rolovich, 4 assistants, refusing to get the vaccine, and they have stepped away, and that's their belief, and that's what they want, and they'll pay them out, and they'll move on to something else, and again, we'll be somewhere here a year from now where we won't be talking about mandates, hopefully, and people will go, did we throw away too many things and create some enemies and things when we didn't have to? And, of course, you've got the NBA that's got the issue right now. Nate Silver came out and says this is not a league problem when it comes to somebody like Kyrie Irving. But Orlando Magic, Jonathan Isaac, because I said this over and over, Kyrie Irving may actually be vaccinated. He's that kind of guy that would have gotten vaccinated but wouldn't tell anybody because he didn't think it's anybody else's right to know what his status is in certain things. That's the kind of thing he is. Jonathan Isaac makes arguably the most cogent argument you will hear when it comes to why he doesn't want to get the vaccine.
It's not that people should not get the vaccine. That's not the argument. It's that for me, there aren't scientific, legal, or to me, moral grounds for the vaccine mandate itself. I think when you take into account the nature of COVID, the nature of the vaccine that doesn't stop infection or transmission, the nature of natural immunity that hasn't been talked about, and then obviously the polarization by the media that has created such distrust. If this thing is just about protecting people and protecting the public health, why does CNN have to lie about Joe Rogan taking horse dewormer, or why does the Rolling Stone have to willfully misrepresent my position on the vaccine of COVID? Why do these things have to happen? It's just about protecting people. So I think there are a lot of grounds to say this thing should be up for people's personal choice on whether or not to get it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But of course you have to ask the question.
Why are you only making this calculation for yourself? Isn't that selfish? Do you owe something to your team? Do you owe something to society to get vaccinated?
I don't think it's for myself. Or just anybody who's saying that it should be people's personal choice are thinking about other people and their freedom to make the decisions that they do. I think, like I said, when you take into account the virus that we have, that the average death age is greater than the life expectancy in the country. And then you take into effect the vaccine that does not stop infection or transmission. Your decision to protect yourself from the virus is your own.
Yeah, no problem with that. Again, personal choice. Personal choice. People keep asking me, you're probably an anti-masker. I'm not a big fan of the mask. If a place asks me to wear a mask, I'm going to wear a mask. By the way, if they tell me I have to wear chaps or top hat and tails to get into their establishment, if I want to go in there, that's what I want to do. I got to go do that, right? Like that's, next thing you know, there I am. Hey, do you guys have any shafts? Oh, fantastic. I'm totally fine with that. And some places have put in mandates. And by the way, I know a couple of friends of mine and people I work with in this business who have left, who I know are vaccinated, but because of the mandates, they refuse to be a part of what they're considering to be the BS game that is being played. which so much of it is. How many of you are out there in a place where they're super mandating stuff? But the reality is everybody walks around with a chin diaper. Nobody really follows everything. And, put your mask on that's fallen on the floor 12 times, but it makes everybody else feel good, even though everybody else is vaccinated. What are we worried about?
I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with the vaccine. I think people who have, pre-existing conditions or just feel they want to take that step to protect themselves from the virus, not necessarily an unvaccinated person, but vaccinated people are carrying it and transmitting it as well. So it should be based on those premises. And then again, talking about the conversation of natural immunity.
Yeah, which nobody will talk about, which should be talked about. But we can't talk about it because, again, it's not about immunity. It's about which immunity did you get? Did you get the old dirty, nasty kind, or did you get the kind the government is pretty stoked to have? And for all of those who say you're an anti-vaxxer, A, I'm not. I've got the vaccine. I even said and applied to be a test subject. Secondly, most importantly, follow the money. Follow the money. Again, there's a lot at play here. When you're minting profits and billionaires, and the government is handing you a blank check and telling you the coffers are full, take what you want. There's some questions to be asked there as well. This may have started out as something, but what it may end at is an absolute boondoggle for some. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Bye, rough greens. Saw my dog Doodle last night. Somebody asked, do you ever give it to your animals? And I've said, yeah, before. I've given it to Winston, my giant rock iguana. He is not, how should we say, he's like me. He only eats what he likes. So sometimes we have to trick him into eating certain things. But yes, I put it on his greens and I'll put it on his banana because he loves his bananas. And he eats it up. Do the same thing with the tortoise. And yes, we have cats and I've given it to our cats and they seem to love it. But it's for dogs, Canine VitaSmart. And I will tell you what, it has changed my dogs' lives completely. Normally this time of year, especially with my older dog Doodle, it's the time of the year when they're scalping all the golf courses. We've planted corn and cotton and all this stuff, and everybody's sneezing. And normally this time of year, for the last 4 years since we've had him, his fur, he would have hot spots. You could tell he have allergies. He has none of that, and it's all because of Canine VitaSmart. It's great for his hips. It's great for his digestive, system, and it's amazing for his fur and for his skin. Try it. It's got vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega-3, 6, 9s. You will absolutely love it. Try it before you buy it. RUFFgreens.com/Chad. You go there. You cover the cost of shipping. They're going to give you a bag for free. Ruffgreens.com/Chad or call 833-MY-DOG-77. 833-MY-DOG-77. Rough Greens makes any pet food better. Chad Benson Show.
Set Chad straight. Text the show, 323-538-2423. That's 323-538-CHAD. Someone has to do it. Might as well be you. The Chad Benson Show.
And it's going to be a little while longer until we see Wakanda again. The Black Panther sequel, originally set to debut next July, now moving to next November. One of many moves made by Disney and Marvel for upcoming releases. The Doctor Strange sequel moving from next March to next May, when the new Thor movie was going to come out. Now that's moving back 2 months. And the Indiana Jones sequel moving from next July to June of 2023. No official reasons for the moves, but the thought is that it's more to do with production delays than lingering skittishness over the pandemic box office.
I think if Halloween showed anything, if something's worth seeing in a movie theater, people are going to go see it. Right? If you have Peacock, you get Halloween for free. Halloween did $50+ million at the box office. By the time all is said and done, I wouldn't be surprised if we're in the 110 to 120 million range. And people have got Peacock plus, and that's just here in the United States. That's a win. People will see something if it's worth seeing. And other people, if given the chance and they think, I want to see it, but I don't think it's worth $10, I always think surge pricing would be huge, right? We think this movie's worth $25. People will pay it if they really want to see it. We think this movie's worth $5. Okay. I'd pay $5. I wouldn't pay $25. So they're moving stuff around. One thing I was excited about yesterday, because I get stuff sent to me all the time. So I still have friends in the world of the entertainment side of things, because I grew up in Los Angeles. A lot of my friends work at, all over the place, and some of them work for big trailer companies. And it is hilarious. It's a TV show starring Jason Sudeikis called Hit Monkey. If you don't know what it is, it's going to be in Hulu starting in November 17th. It's a monkey that Jason Sudeikis is like this badass killer and kind of like an archer guy, and he gets killed. And while he's getting killed, he was going to get ready to shoot at this like monkey because he thought it was a guy, and then he kind of possesses this monkey, and now he makes the monkey wear a suit and go around shoot things. It's so stupid, and it's amazing. So it tells of the wrong Japanese snow monkey, mentored by the ghost of an American assassin, as he cuts a wide swath through the Tokyo underworld, and he has a rule that he only kills bad people. Oh, God. I was like, yes, sign me up. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. Check us out across the Getter, the Twitter, Instagram. I don't know. There's probably a bunch of other stuff out there. Just check it all out. Type in Chad Benson Show and see what pops up. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
We have trouble with logistics internally getting product to market. We have some loads that have been actually on the truck for almost a week. We have to go back to retailers and offer them an item that used to retail for $20 or $25. It's now retailing for, $30, $35, maybe even $40.
Yeah, that's an issue. CEO of American Plastics, John Gessert. There are stuff sitting out there in them there ships, and there's plenty of ships.
Never before have 100 cargo ships been anchored and waiting off the coast of Southern California. That new record hit on Monday, beating the last record set of 97 ships in September, and 45 more cargo ships are set to arrive over the next 3 days. The ports report regular and contingency anchorages are full. There's no more room. Before the COVID supply crunch issues, only an average of 17 ships would normally be anchored waiting to come in.
That's huge. Now, not everything is Trump's fault. I continue to say, Biden's fault. Everything is Trump's fault, but Biden's fault. But he's going to get the blame. He is. Does he deserve some blame? Hell yeah, he does. Of course he does. Does he deserve all the blame? No. But when you decide you're going to be the man or the woman, and you say to self, I want this gig. This is what I want to be. I want to be head coach of the United States of America. This is the gig I want. And you are head coach of the United States of America, just like any other thing, the buck stops with you. So even stuff that you really can't fix, it doesn't matter. The buck stops with you. You have a nightmare right now. A worker shortage. You've got crime on the rise. You have energy issues. You have the vaccine mandate, which is, that is causing issues. Let's not pretend it isn't. Supply chain crisis, inflation, border crisis. Oh, by the way, let us not forget Afghanistan was a hot mess. And then all that going on, you look across the ocean and you've got China, which
Britain's Financial Times saying Beijing test-launched the weapon this summer, sending it into space and around the planet before it landed just 25 miles away from its intended target. Hypersonic glide weapons can fly 5 times the speed of sound and lower than conventional weapons. The US and Russia are also developing this capability, but it's thought they're far behind China in this particular weapons race. The report, which can't be independently verified by ABC News, says that US intelligence services had no idea that China was so far ahead.
Now, China said, nah, these are satellites. Do we really buy any of that? First of all, I don't know if you guys are seeing what's going on in China right now. They're having some issues. Xi got pushed back big time with this property tax. He's asking the people that are wealthy to not only pay their fair share, he's just saying, we're just going to take your fair share. Why? Because he got worried. He got worried. And the thing that I've always said will take down communism, socialism faster than anything else is the want for consumer goods and freedom. Those are not mutually exclusive, but they kind of go hand in hand. They opened up everything, looked over and they said, we don't want to be like Russia, right? That can't work. That didn't work. They imploded on themselves. They didn't like the fact they had nothing, right? So we've got to open this thing up. He didn't. Back in the day, Mao and everybody said, we got to figure something out, right? Because this thing I tried didn't work. This whole red book, just the Great Leap Forward was kind of, so we're going to move on to something else. But they knew afterwards, hey, we got to figure something out. We got to open up. We got to have some freedoms. They had some freedoms, financial freedoms. They take everything else away. Financial freedoms. But then people got too big. People got too big for their britches, right? You had Jack Ma and several others who were worth billions upon billions of dollars, and all of a sudden they're out of the limelight and they've disappeared, but they come. It's about control. That's what the communism side of things is all about. They want control. So he goes and puts in a very unpopular property tax, which he's having to scale back. Last year, and their economy didn't grow the way they thought it was going to grow. They've got problems with Evergrande, huge real estate company. There are some serious issues that are out there. And is this a deflection by trying to say, let me flex a little bit? Potentially. Let's see what Jen Psaki thinks of it, because she's totally on top.
Can you comment on reports that China tested a nuclear-capable hypersonic missile over this summer?
Well, I know the Secretary Austin, I should say, was asked this question this morning and addressed it, but I'm not going to comment on the specific report. I can say and would echo what he said, which is generally speaking, we've made clear our concerned about the military capabilities that the PRC continues to pursue.
Yeah. We're concerned. Of course, we're concerned. We're concerned, but this is great.
And we have been consistent in our approach with China. We welcome stiff competition, but we do not want that competition to veer into conflict. And that is certainly what we convey privately as well.
Wait, hold on a second. We welcome competition. What? You want another Cold War? You're welcoming that? Yeah, we're totally into that. We welcome that. Well, it's good for business. We know that. But China's in it to win it. At the end of the day, people, do you think we're going to go to war with China? We're not. Do I think China is going to push? Of course. Do I think at some point in time Taiwan may be on the table for them? I do. But I also think the more that we help Taiwan, the more that the international, community push pressure on and also throws their backing behind Taiwan, the tougher it's going to be. And if they thought that they were going to lose 50 million people or 60 million people, and I don't think they'd be into that. And if they thought not only could this thing go sideways in such a way that the world would stand up to it, not just America, which would mean eventually that we would be dependent again on ourselves, which we probably could not sustain, then this entire thing would collapse. That's so much of what it is. Because here's the thing about communism. What they've done is they've given people some financial freedom, which takes their mind off the fact that they don't have other freedoms. They're not like North Korea. North Korea is a cult. North Korea, they buy just about everything that guy's selling over there, or gal, or whoever's running the show today. You take away their money and their financial freedom and all of their other freedoms after they've had a taste, it gets ugly fast. And Tiananmen Square looks like two kids fighting in a sandbox. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. You can tweet, you can text. Feel free to knock it out the park. The mandates are out there. People are frustrated. They're not quite sure what to do. You're finding even in the sports world, they're having issues. And we saw that. And, of course, now in places like Seattle, San Francisco, elsewhere, people are going, I'm not playing this game.
According to San Francisco's Police Officers Association, 120 sworn officers, 80 of them that work in the patrol division, will be off the job tomorrow after failing to comply with the city's vaccine mandate.
In a city of this size with the month of October and all the things that have been going on, that's going to put quite a dent into operations. Take 120 cops or even more off the street, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah. What do you think's going to happen? You've got tons of issues right now with policing, with rising crime, with people frustrated over the fact that they feel, especially in certain cities, where they feel like, hey, we don't even know what the hell's going on here anymore. I mean, Portland is a disaster. It is. Cops don't know what to do. They're told do this, but don't do this. Washington State's a hot mess when it comes to some of their police officers. People are frustrated across the board. They feel like they're being pushed into a corner and that they've had no, opportunity to talk about this. And they've got unions. And again, unions, whether it's the teachers union, some of these places, the police unions, the guards, right? They're all asking some serious questions to their unions about what are you going to do? And the unions want to use this as a bargaining chip, as we know. Smart business. But you start losing police officers in a big way. I go back to, let's ask real questions about, A, how long's the mandate last for? And B, what happens when it's over? And people that are still looking for employees, and now those people that felt like they were screwed over by their last are going to go elsewhere. Well, that's not a big deal. That's their fault. You say so, but if you're a business person and you're looking for people, and you've built this animosity, that's not good either.
And SFPOA Vice President Tracy McRae says it will force officers working the streets to make some tough decisions.
If I have a crime happening in the Bayview 5 car where Alice Griffin public housing is located, high crime area, or do I have to go to a woman screaming all the way across in the Potrero Hill area, which one am I going to?
It's fair. That's a fair question. That is a very fair question. But those are questions that are going to have to be, answered by the city at this point in time. Again, I'm not anti-vax. Never have been. Get your vaccines. Stupid not to. The beauty of science and where we are in this world is science has advanced so far. I always say they'll follow the money and check out the insanity of the red tape that goes along with so many of these things. You wonder why we don't get rid of some of these diseases you think we would. There's a reason for that. There's absolutely a reason for that. And so much of it is politics and BS, but you're putting people in tough places. And, we want choice in certain things, and other things we don't want people to have choice, and that gets frustrating because I'm a freedom guy. I love freedom more than I love a lot of this other insanity that's out there. I also like burritos. Those are pretty good. Vanilla ice cream. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Car Shield is awesome. As cars get more expensive, as people are waiting for cars to be delivered, and as used cars become more and more expensive, let me tell you how valuable Car Shield is for you. For a few bucks a month, you could be looking at a situation where you're protected. You're out on the road, you're protected. If something goes wrong with your car, you're protected. That's right. Maybe it's your transmission. Maybe it's the heating. Maybe it's the dashboards with all the electronics. Whatever it is, you've got protection because you have CarShield. 24/7 roadside assistance, a rental car for free while your car's in the shop. And by the way, you choose that shop. They get them paid directly. The administrators at CarShield, they handle stuff so easily. They make the process easy. Too many times I see people out there who are like, I'm not going to really worry about it. And then when they get a few bucks in the bank, something goes wrong. That check engine light comes on. Next thing you know, it's several $1,000s. And they start making choices like, do I take on a car payment? What do I have to do? With CarShield, you don't have to worry about any of that. They've got you covered. Right now, save an extra 10%. Go to carshield.com/Benson. carshield.com/Benson. Over 1 million drivers have been helped by CarShield. And the reason is simple. It works. carshield.com/Benson. Saves you 10% right there. Deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
Check out our Chad Benson Show Facebook page where you can hang out or hang your grievances out to dry. This is Chad Benson.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? Let us take a peek and find out what's trending on the old interweb. Started Twitter. Buffalo Bills, Tennessee Titans. What a game last night. Trending overnight. Huge game. 34-31 win. Both teams now 4-2. Last second stop by the Titans. Bills were driving, had the ball at the 2. They had to go another foot to get a first down. With under 30 seconds left and timeouts, there's no doubt if they would have got that, I think they would have won the game. But Josh Allen, there's a great push by the defensive line. Josh Allen slipped. No chance. Washington State said they did not fire Nick Rolovich on Monday. The school was merely the vessel of dismissal, carrying out the state's mandate designed to save lives and contain a pandemic. In reality, though, they say Rolovich was fired. That's kind of what they're saying on that. A lot of other stuff. Dan Bongino says he's going to quit his radio show if Cumulus's mandate. He said you can have me or you can have the vaccine mandate. I have a feeling they'll choose B. Although if you do it out of your house or something, what does it matter, right? I don't. Again, weirdness. Head on over to Google. Colin Powell yesterday, the most searched thing. 5 million searches for Colin Powell yesterday. Talking about who he was, the trailblazer in life, and how he, talked about Iraq and how that stained his legacy. And at the end, I'm talking to Andy Roberts yesterday, worked for ABC News, and he said, he was friends with him. He says, at the end of all of this, and he goes, he became close with Powell. He said, I warned Bush on numerous occasions about this. But at the end, I'm just a soldier taking orders. And, I warned everybody, but people didn't listen. But he took full responsibility. Buffalo Bills trending. Walmart Black Friday deals. They unveiled them today. The way they're going to do it is similar to kind of what they did last year. So it'll start online first and continue in stores. So it starts online at 7 p.m. Eastern, November 3rd. Then in stores at 5 a.m. local time, November 5th. That'll be very interesting to see the way that they do this. And they're going to make this a month-long situation. Month-long Black Friday deals. So the second starts online November 10th at 7 p.m. Then on the 5th, local time, in stores. On the 12th, local time at 5 a.m. And then they're going to have a third event. They didn't provide any kind of details on that, but says it will wrap up the month with huge savings. And there's a lot of stuff they're already rolling out there. You're like, whoa, look at this. There's some stuff, too. 55-inch TCL 4K Roku TV, $228. See? Stock them deep and sell them cheap. America! Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Oil prices haven't been this high in 7 years, and gas prices are following right behind. New numbers out from the Energy Department show the average price of regular unleaded in the U.S. is now at $3.32 a gallon, up 6 cents in just the past week, and $1.17 higher per gallon than this time last year. In California now, the average price for regular unleaded is $4.34 a gallon and rising, but in many areas of California, it's hard to find unleaded for below $5 a gallon.
What? Yeah. Insane. I made $3.30 something today. I think it was $3.20 yesterday. I made right around $3.30. Prices are rising. Here, Phoenix, should be $1 cheaper. It's insane. We're looking around. Hey, who's to blame? A lot of things. Oil, prices there. Let me tell you about oil. Oil is the king of the energies. I am the king of the energies. Zeus. And as oil goes, so goes everything else. Case in point, what's going to happen this year, especially when it comes to heating your home, where you're seeing prices of things like heating oil and natural gas go through the roof.
You may heat or cool and light your house with electricity, and in recent years, most of that was generated by natural gas-powered plants, but this year it might be different. With gas prices on the rise, many electric providers are turning to coal-fired plants, 22% more this year than last. The Energy Department is predicting that over half of the electricity produced in the U.S. this year will come from coal. It's the first year-over-year increase in coal generation since 2014.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, we're looking at what's happening. We have got inflation on the rise. We have got people that are frustrated by seeing what's taking place out there. You know, you talk about the supply chain. Well, let me tell you a little bit about oil. And by the way, before you go blame oil on this is all Biden's fault, if you go pull up a chart and you look, prices were rising for, well, quite frankly, last year for a bit. Oil dropped down to $23 in May of last year. By the time it rolled to January, it had gone almost doubled in price. Since he has taken over, it has gone up and doubled again. Is that his fault? No. Is there things he could do? Yes. And this is where being able to go to the OPEC people and say, hey guys, hey, how about a little help over here? And they're like, we'll give you a little bit more. We'll turn the spigot on a little bit more. All right, but just a smidge. Just a smidge. And you're like, no, I'm asking for more than that. We're going to do a little bit of a smidge. And that's it. Right? That's it. Maybe we should just release what's in our strategic reserves. Maybe we should do that. And I know some of you out there are going to go, well, Chad, he's getting rid of drilling and all of these kind of things. You will not feel that, or we as a nation won't feel that, potentially for 5 to 10 years. So that doesn't take into account anything else that's going on. So, but we do have strategic oil reserves, and if we have to, do we maybe play a little hardball? I don't think they will. But understand that there are things that you could do to maybe nudge them along. What is it you guys are looking for? Help us help you. Please.
We are continuing to press through member countries of OPEC, even as we are not a member, to address the supply issue and work to address it here as well. I would also note that what we're also working to address is more of a logistics issue of how we are moving supply around the country, which means there are shortages in some places and not others, and that's something that we are also working to address. We are certainly well aware of the impact on any increase in gasoline prices or any cost on the American people, and we're going to continue to use every lever at our disposal.
And there is really, Saudi Arabia is the biggest one. Kuwait, obviously, Qatar, United Arab Emirates are the ones you go, because you got Algeria, you got Angola, you got Congo, you got Ecuador, Equatorial Guinea, Gabon, but then you have Iran, Iraq, Nigeria, and Venezuela, which is the largest amount of oil reserves on the planet. So you're going to get the blame for this. So you better figure something out. At this point in time, you better start figuring out, what can I do to push this a little bit harder? Who can I get to somewhat lean on in a different way? How does that work? Who is going to be a part of that? That, I don't know. I don't know if I just think they think, well, that at some point in time, this is going to be cyclical, which some of it is. But you better start figuring it out, because at the end of the day, you're still the coach of the team, and the coach of the team is going to get the blame. The coach of the team is going to be the one. The quarterback of the team is going to get all of the fame, all of the anger. The coach of the team is going to get all of the blame. You better figure out what you're going to do. You've got ships waiting out there. You've got people that are worried that their Christmas isn't going to be very good, and you've got businesses that are worried because if their Christmases aren't good, you find out that next year, well, they're not a business the way they once were. These are all things that start to add up, and people start asking questions, and people start looking around going, what are you going to do? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text said program. Love hearing from you. Halloween, not too far away. I'm super excited. In fact, I just had a little piece of Halloween candy. Shh. It's delicious. Because I'm hungry. And do we need healthy candy? There's a great article about this that came out. And it was funny because people are like, no, just give out candy. Right? Just give out candy. That's it. Kids want candy. Just give out the candy. Nobody wants something gluten-free. I remember when I was a kid growing up, what was the thing? You know, there's a razor blade in the apple. Who the hell's eating an apple? You just gave me something to throw back at your house. It's not very nice, but who? Like, hey, guys, put all that other candy away. I got myself. It's got an apple. It's got razor blades. Who's eating an apple? That's just silly. So do we want more healthy? No. At some point in time, just give out the damn candy.
In an article posted on everydayhealth.com, there is a list of what's considered to be the healthiest and least healthy candies available at stores. Among the healthiest are Unreal Milk Chocolate Gems, Endangered Species Dark Chocolate Bites, Peanut M&Ms, Snickers, and Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Nutritionists say that while these are all still packing some sugar content, at least they have added extras like peanuts, dark chocolate, and have fun size options that lower the calories you consume.
By the way, just out of curiosity, who's like you're eating candy that your neighbor gave you? You're 7. You're super excited. You're amped, right? Because we live in a country, and I lived all over Europe. We didn't do this. Let me tell you something. We live in a country where you wander around and people just go, here's some free candy. It's just amazing. It's awesome. It is. I'm not thinking health at that point in time. All right. Especially when you're little, right? You're walking around. It's been hours. You're dragging your pillowcase. You're carrying 40 pounds of candy. All you want to do at this point in time is just get to that last house so you can go home and start divvying it up as mom and dad go through looking for all the stuff that you really want, but you know they're going to take some.
The candies that make the unhealthy list are candy corn, Smarties, gummy bears, jelly beans, and Airheads. They say these options are pure sugar and are typically devoid of any nutritional value. Nutritionists say another thing you can do to make your Halloween a little healthier is put the candy out of sight. They say when it's not staring you in the face, you won't be as tempted. If it sits there for more than a week, health experts say just throw it all away.
Yeah. Candy corn's gross. I think we all agree on that. It's not. It's yuck. I don't get it. I've never got candy corn. I was like, would you like some wax? No. Why? Why would I want that? But it's shaped like, some like little kernels of corn. Again, I'm solid no from me. It is. I'm going to pass. I'm going to go no. You keep doing what you want to do, but I'm going to give a hard pass on that one. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us. I love Halloween. I do. In fact, if you guys were to see in here, maybe I'll give a little tour in the old Twitter and Getter and whatnot of the studio, but I've got all my Halloween. So I've got Jason right next to me. I've got Freddy. I've got a doll that's super creepy. Right? Elsa's here, too. There's Joe Biden. Excuse me. Let's go, Brandon. Still my favorite thing in the world. It's the best. And then back here, I've got all kinds of monsters as well. I love Halloween. I don't think you guys, like in my family, this is our jam. So I'm a candy-giving person. You're coming to my house, you're getting candy, and that's just it. And we'll worry about the rest later. Have fun. You're only a kid once. And if you could live like a kid for as long as you can, it's a beautiful thing. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. My Pillow's got a burger. That is buy one, get one free. The Giza Dream Sheets. Limited time, buy one, get one free. Sliding into the best, most comfortable sheets you're ever going to own. Guaranteed. World's best cotton, grown between the Sahara Desert, Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River, and it's grown with long staple cottons. Ultra soft, super breathable, and available in tons of colors and sizes. Machine washable, 60 money back guarantee, 1 year limited warranty. Right now, limited time, buy one, get one free. Go to mypillow.com, radio listener square, use promo code Benson. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson, buy one, get one free, the Giza Dream Sheets. Call 800-983-4975. Check out all the deep discounts across all of the MyPillow products and no supply chain issues here. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. Sleep better with MyPillow. Chad Benson Show.
Being antisocial sucks. Hang with Chad's friends on Facebook, The Chad Benson Show. And if you just need some alone time, head on over to Twitter at Chad Benson Show. Either way, we can't wait to meet the real you.
You're a wizard, Harry. New Zealand has fired their wizard, Ian Brackenbury. So they hired him in like 1990. And he was going to be like, not so much, he was there to be an actor, kind of to do some stuff in the town square at Christchurch. And he wasn't supposed to be there on a permanent basis. It was just kind of a, he's an actor. He's a thespian. Of course, you got to act at some point in time. And he was so popular that when they said, all right, your little gig here and contract's done, they said, no, we need a wizard. So they said, hey, finally, like outpouring people, we got to keep the wizard. This is what we need. And they said, all right, here's the deal. Would you like to be the wizard for New Zealand, Antarctica, and the greater oceans? And he's like, yes, I'd love it. And so he became a wizard. He already was a wizard, apparently. So for 23-ish years, he's been the wizard of New Zealand. But the council, and he did most of his stuff in like Christchurch, but the council said, no, we've had enough. They're paying him like $12,000 a year, and he was doing other things, obviously. So we had enough, and we can't do this, and so no. And he's like, And one of the reasons was wizards aren't cool anymore, said one council member. And I thought to myself, I love that. I love that. You just were honest. You looked right at me and go, you know what? Wizards? Yeah, they're not cool. They're not. Sorry. They were, but they're not. But at one time they were. And plus, we got coronavirus. And all your wizarding ways didn't wizard this damn thing away. Speaking of down under, this is a man in his underwear in a bathroom attacked by a spider. I'm going to point this out. This is a huntsman spider. If you've ever seen one, they're creepy. They are kind of thing for a lot of people out there. And they are fast. And as you can tell, they are huntsmen because, well, kids, they hunt. And he was not thrilled. Not thrilled at all.
Welcome to Australia, where spiders attack you.
On average, their leg span can be about 15 centimeters. The body almost 2 centimeters. So we're talking about a 6-inch spider as far as their legs go, right? So it's a fairly large spider, but he was not happy. Their venom, not nice, not going to kill you, but it could cause some issues. And sometimes it's weird, right? Like people get that way with snakes. There's just some things, and spiders evoke that, thing amongst people when it comes to critters. And that guy lost it in his underwear, no less. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Do love hearing from every single one of you. Gas prices up, mandates everywhere. People are frustrated. I always go back to this, though. I like to leave things on good no matter which hour you're coming in. The reality is things are good, people. I mean, we live in the best time in human history. We do. And if we could get government more often than not to do the things that they need to do, which is in many cases getting out of their way so human beings can continue to do stuff that we need to do to push things forward, that's great. That is. Government gets involved, and when that happens, that means politics is coming with it. And no matter what the solution is, if it doesn't benefit the parties and then themselves, they don't care about the people. If it happens to benefit all of them, great. But rarely is that ever happening. 323-538-2423. It's Chad Benson Show. Your Twitter's Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Where does this end? We're talking about a federal mandate for a shot. As you know, there's waning effectiveness of these shots. Are people going to be required by the federal government to take a shot every single year for the rest of their lives? Americans need to come to grips with the unconstitutional overreach by the Biden administration.
I think the fair question is, and we can debate the constitutionality of certain things and stuff, but here's the fair question. Where does it end? In the sense of, is this a forever thing? Is this a situation where once we get to a certain level, we're going to say no more having to worry about masks or this, that, and the other? I have no problem with asking some serious questions. And I think when you don't ask questions, it's not good. And too many people out there don't ask questions. Too many people out there do not dare ask questions. They see something on the news, and I'm not talking about people that are inundated 24/7 on, the Twitter sphere with the people that they support who want, are affirming their beliefs, and it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. Same thing with MSNBC, CNN, Fox, those people. I'm talking about real people that just kind of blanketly go, okay. Plato said, and I tweet this out, those who are able to see beyond the shadows and lies of their culture will never be understood, let alone believed by the masses. I think too many people out there just see something and they buy into it. They see something and they say, okay, well, that's what they say. And they're good eggs, right? They would never, ever, ever do us wrong. Never. They're not interested in that. Would never do us wrong. Yesterday, Colin Powell died. A great man. A great man. A guy who is absolutely somebody who, as one person put it, was, if you asked him what he was a patriot. They would say, that's what I am. I'm a patriot. Somebody who, by the way, both sides of the aisle courted. Wanted him to run for president. Probably the last person you will see both sides of the aisle want he or she to run for president. Before that, it was Eisenhower. Commanded respect on both sides of the aisle. But he readily admitted about what took place. Right? He went there to the UN. Gave a crappy spiel, which he said was faulty intelligence. By the sounds of it, he kind of knew a lot of this because he was warning the likes of George Bush and, and several others. Hey, Rumsfeld and Cheney and a few of these others, they're really into this. They think that there's stuff there. And let's be real, we knew there were certain things there because we have the receipts for it. But at the end of the day, he bought into it and got everybody else to. So to say that people don't have other things in mind to push certain things, you'd be lying. And I'm not saying that the majority of people, I always say follow the money and see, when you start talking billions of dollars, when you start talking massive influence, when you start talking certain things like that, don't tell me that people wouldn't play a game. When COVID hit, we didn't know what it was, right? We really had no idea. But you couldn't ask a question about the Wuhan lab, right? Because if you did, you were racist, which was a bunch of crap. You had media censoring things that was ridiculous. You can't ask her. What was the big thing they said about the Wuhan lab? Was what happened to all the information? We were worried it was going to be hacked. Yeah, but it was a public platform. Anybody could look at it at any time. So who's hacking something that everybody could look at? But you can't ask questions because maybe it led back to certain areas. But my point in all of this is to think that people don't have other, maybe more insidious want to do something, play something, grab more control, you'd be fooling yourself. Even if 98% of people believe, though, this is the right thing to do, you'd be fooling yourself. And the question is, too, people are starting to ask questions. How long does it last? Why is natural immunity not good enough? Why can't I test every single week? What's wrong with that? Well, maybe, I don't know. And as you see more and more employees push back, companies are going to make decisions. Case in point, Southwest has capitulated. They were going to essentially put people who are unvaccinated on unpaid leave starting in December. They have capitulated. They've scrapped that. Why? Because they're worried. I think they're asking questions, as we all should. And that's my whole point with this. Ask some questions. Seek out the other side of things. Be open-minded enough to go, well, maybe I don't know everything. Because I know I don't know everything. And the more I know, the less I know. But I've been around long enough to know that it isn't my first rodeo. And I know how these games work, and I see how many of these people play the game and what's most important. Remember, what have we always talked about? It's about themselves personally, it's about the party, and if anything's left over, it's about the people. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. Ooh, can you believe that? So let's take a look here. Southwest scrap plan to put unvaccinated employees who have applied for but haven't received a religious or medical exemption on unpaid leave starting in December. That would be the federal deadline. Southwest Airlines and American Airlines are among the carriers that federal contractors and subject to a Biden administration requirement that their employees are vaccinated against COVID-19 by December 8, or they get some sort of exempt medical or religious reasons. And remember, because they're federal contractors, there is a different thing when you're working with the feds. They're asking you to do something, and so many companies, small and large, work with the feds. So they're asking for this mandate. It looks like they're capitulating. Why? Well, you've got pilots unions that are pushing back. You've got several others that are pushing back. And they're also saying that there are people out there with sincerely held religious beliefs who, whether it's Jehovah's Witnesses, I think it's Christian Science, they're saying, so you're going to fire me or put me on unpaid leave, even though I don't take aspirin or I don't seek any medical treatment or I don't, but you're trying to prove a political point with the or else. And on top of that, the pilots unions have pushed back, and there are more and more people inside of the company asking questions about some of this stuff. So, look at that. That is interesting. Ooh. So now what? Right? Now what do they do? Where does this go now? This is the first to go, you know what? No. Now, doesn't mean that it won't happen. But when you have Southwest pushing back, because like a lot of things, if your police officers leave, that's not a good thing. If your fire department leaves, that's not a good thing. If your pilots leave, that's not a good thing. You could have all of the cabin crew, right? All of the flight attendants, the people who work underneath the plane, all of them could be vaccinated. But if the guys and gals who fly the plane don't get the plane to take off, you know what you have? A lounge with wings. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. It's going to be very interesting. You've got more and more people who are threatening or else scenarios, and most of those are taking place where? Democratic cities.
Mandates are pitting some police officers against their own city.
A showdown between cities and powerful police unions is playing out from coast to coast over vaccine mandates.
This notion that individual officers get to be insubordinate as they choose and pick and choose, we're not having that.
Chicago's police department now telling officers they must get special permission for time off as a vaccine mandate takes effect, and warning officers who refuse to share their vaccine status they could be fired.
Yep, that's a possibility. And they understand that. And I think some of them are willing to do that. It's happening in Baltimore, San Francisco.
According to San Francisco's Police Officers Association, 120 sworn officers, 80 of them that work in the patrol division, will be off the job tomorrow after failing to comply with the city's vaccine mandate.
In a city of this size, with the month of October and all the things that have been going on, that's going to put quite a dent into operations. Take 120 cops or even more off the street, what do you think is going to happen?
We'll find out. We'll find out. But I think you're getting pushback. And again, I am somebody who went and got the shot. I say shot because not a vaccine the way that we think, because you can spread it. It doesn't stop you from catching it. And it's not a long-lasting vaccine, the way that we would look at other vaccines. But science and data says it works. Okay. I've also had the thing. So according to several, apparently, I'm pretty good to go. But we also leave out the question of natural immunity, several other things. There's a lot. Follow the money, see the power, understand that so much of what's being used out there in the political sphere is used just as much for power as it is other things. Like, we're doing this for the best of you. For you. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Car Shield. So right now, your car. You got a used car. Yeah, Chad's got 80,000 miles on it. I was thinking about getting a new car, but not quite sure. Then I was looking at used cars, and they're through the roof if you can even find one. I do like my car. Well, then you call Car Shield. Right? Better yet, go to carshield.com/Benson. You'll save 10%. Let me tell you something about Car Shield. 24/7 roadside assistance. You pick the mechanic you want to go to, right? Rental car reimbursement. The beauty of Car Shield is they'll save you thousands in covered repairs. And with cars needing to go longer, and for people out there who are worried, go see the plans they have. $1 a day to protect yourself from covered repairs in a day and age where people are worried about, I don't know what to do with my car. Take care of your car with Car Shield. Car Shield administrators have helped so many people. They make it so easy. They've helped over 1 million drivers. Car Shield cars go further, and there's a reason for that. They're America's #1 auto protection company. Now is your time. Go to carshield.com, use code Benson. So, carshield.com/Benson. Right? That's the, if you called it Benson, say, Benson sent me, the Benson guy. Carshield.com/Benson. Save 10%. See the things they have. You will be impressed. Carshield.com/Benson. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
If you like talk radio like Chad Benson likes his meals, you've come to the perfect place for takeout.
Procter & Gamble will start charging consumers more for razors and other grooming supplies, along with skincare products and diapers. Procter & Gamble's Andre Schulten blamed a global supply chain out of whack.
We continue to see pressure on transportation and warehousing.
Yeah, for sure.
We continue to see driver shortages, diesel increases.
The company is also facing higher costs for packaging, chemicals, and other raw materials. Schulten expected that to continue, so he couldn't say when prices would ease.
Yes, we continue to see these things go up, so we are going to pass it on to the consumer, and then the people who are in power will go, well, we didn't think the business would do that, and that's why you are politicians and we are not. Yeah, things are going to be more expensive because it costs more to produce. It takes longer to get there. We have supply and demand issues. We have a chain that is broken when it comes to our supply chain. On top of all of that, you have rising energy prices, which means getting things to certain places takes longer. We're paying more, even a higher premium, to get certain materials ahead of others to produce things. And then, yes, things are going to cost more. No. It's going to happen, kids. I hate to break the news. I don't want to be the bearer of said bad news. But it's going to happen. It's going to cost a bit more. Smidge in some cases. And others, it's going to be way more. Because that bottleneck that has now become a parking lot in the ocean is not just 3 weeks of stuff. Some of those things are a year plus out. And those people, by the way, if you've read or have any understanding of how ridiculous this is, many of them are on contracts, and according to certain maritime, you're not supposed to be on a ship for more than 11 months during a year. And some of these people have been continuously on these ships for 13, 14 months. So there's some issues. So it'll be very interesting to see how this thing plays itself out. But yes, things are going to be more expensive this holiday season. Doesn't mean you're not going to find good deals, but I will tell you this. Black Friday deals came out today from the likes of Walmart, which I think is a brilliant idea. It doesn't start today. It'll start the first week of November. They're going to do it in waves, 1, 2, 3. They'll have their Friday after sale, but they're not going to release that probably until they know what they have. They're not putting something out there right now at a super deep discount for the day after because they may not have it. And they're one of the few companies, along with Target and a few others, who are able to be working with the longshoremen and on the docks to be getting some of their own stuff out. So things are going to be a little bit more expensive. And if you see it now and you think it might not be there in a month, your best bet is to purchase it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. I love hearing from every single one of you. Check out the Getter, the Twitter. I don't know what else around there. YouTube. I got to do more stuff there. I'm so busy, though. So tough at times. So busy. Need a help. Anthony helps so much. Phil can only help so much. Whew, jeez. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
It's one of the reasons why I stopped using Google to search things too. They're doing something to curate information where, like, if I wanted to find specific cases about people who died from vaccine related injuries, I had to go to DuckDuckGo. I wasn't finding them on Google.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, well, this is crazy. Like, you guys are hiding information.
No, oh yeah, they are. It's weird. If you ever go, so just try this today, right? Right? So you can go to DuckDuckGo. You can go to Bing or Mozilla or Google, and you type in something. It's something that may be a little bit controversial, and you see the things that pop up in certain places. You're like, I didn't know that. That isn't on Google. Well, they would never do that. Really? You don't think they would? They would. They would absolutely. But it's look, Bing's the same. You can go to Bing and you find stuff that you find that you're not finding elsewhere. It's weird because I have Google Chrome, and then I have on one of my computers I have Bing, and whenever I try to pull something up, it always ends up at Bing. And you'll put something in, you go to Google, like, it's weird. Like, that's not even, and it could be something that has nothing to do with anything political. It's like, that's odd. That's interesting. It goes back to what we talked about, like with Facebook and many of these others. Well, they would never silence anything, Chad. They're all above board. Of course they would. Of course they would play the games. I'm not saying that all of it is intentional, and I'm not saying all of it is nefarious. But you'd be lying to yourself not to. I mean, think about this for a second. Hunter Biden. Nothing to see here. It's a lie. We're taking your New York Post. We're suspending you because it's all a lie. How do you know it's a lie? Because it is. It's nothing. Well, Trump's kids were all evil and bad, say everybody else, but this guy's above board when we know he was Cracky McCrackerson. Not saying it had anything to do with certain things. He's selling his artwork for $75,000 and nobody can ask a question? Really? Okay. So that's weird. You go and look at numbers in one area on Google for COVID or for homicides, and then you go look somewhere else, and you're like, well, these are two different things. That's why you got to go and do your research. Well, there's just no way they would do that, Chad. Of course they would.
I'm looking for very specific people and very specific cases, and I'm getting CDC websites, and I'm getting, articles on the disinformation attached to vaccines and vaccines being safe and effective, which for the most part they are, just like peanuts are safe and effective for the most part.
Yeah. But sometimes you'd like to have all the information, because data is only as good as all the information in front of you. Bad data, bad argument. Half data, half the argument. So do I think people would lie? Yeah, I think they absolutely would. I think they would lie. They would hold back. And we've seen it on numerous occasions. You've seen it on so many occasions. That we have a media that in many cases is disingenuous, that is more interested. And some of that is the fact that they're put in a position that is so much more difficult than it was 25, 30 years ago. I was talking to my uncle last night. We have our big discussion way on. We talk business and stuff, but we were talking about some of the things that go on out there and the way that the media does certain things. You know, it's like people like Walter Cronkite was a super lefty, but you would have never known it because it's the who, what, when, how, and why. Right? But you go back and look at that. And I was telling my uncle, I said, dude, you do realize everybody's in the media now. Everybody could be a journalist. All of those things are true. But back in his day, outside of working local or for a newspaper, there was 3 of him. There was 3. Walter Cronkite was it, and then, you know, the nightly news was it. You had Brinkley, you had Cronkite, but it was it. Now it's a competition that is easier than ever before to get into. But then you start seeing the fact that now, more than ever, it's disingenuous in so many ways because it's not about the who, what, when, how, and why. It is also about activism. Katie Couric has a book out and she's selling stuff. So when you put certain things in there, they're going to be, you're going to put some stuff that's salacious, right? You're selling a book, talking about Matt Lauer and a few other things. One of the things she talked about is Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So she did an interview with Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And now she readily admit, yeah, I totally protected her. I absolutely protected her.
Talking about journalism, and this is very much a journalism story, you did make an eye-opening revelation about an interview you did with Ruth Bader Ginsburg. You decided to leave out newsworthy comments that she made on the subject of kneeling during the national anthem.
So, kneeling during the national anthem. So let's go back. We're looking at what, 2016? So, it's not yesterday, right? Because obviously she's not here. So 2016-ish. All this stuff's ramping up. And she asked Ruth Bader Ginsburg a bunch of questions. But
how did you justify that? It violates a cardinal rule of journalism.
Well, I think what people don't realize is we make editorial decisions like that all the time. And I chose to talk about this and put it in the book for a discussion. I mentioned that it was a conundrum that I asked Justice Ginsburg about Colin Kaepernick and taking a knee and how she felt about that.
Yeah. So here is a woman who she readily admits is a hero. It's a hero to so many out there. A woman who fought through hard times, who broke through the you know, there was the ceiling and it wasn't even made of regular glass. It was bulletproof glass. And she broke through that thing. And they ask her a question, right? About the kneeling side of things. We make editorial decisions all the time.
And I did include the fact that she said it was dumb and disrespectful. It was stupid and arrogant, and quite a bit of what she said, There was another line that I thought I wasn't sure what she meant exactly, and I thought it was subject to interpretation. What I wish I had done is asked a follow-up to clarify, or just run it and let her clarify it later. But I think the most pertinent and direct response to the question about Colin Kaepernick, I included.
You really didn't. You may have included the question, but the answer, she talked about how grateful they should be from where they came from. And the thought is, and she also went on to talk about, well, maybe she didn't understand it. Maybe she didn't quite get it, you know, what I was asking her. And I'm thinking, well, she served on the court for a little bit longer. If she's not getting that question, they don't give a lot of Q&As. They don't give a lot of sit-downs. Very few times will you see that. I mean, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, towards the end of her life, did. I remember, you know, you look at her and Scalia, the friendship that they had. I remember one night, I think it was on 60 Minutes, they talked about their friendship rather than anything else, even through the contentious times of courts. But the reason I bring this up is I'm media. You're supposed to be a journalist. We're two different things. We're supposed to be the ones with the hot takes. We're supposed to be the one that starts the arguments, the fights, the debates, whatever. You're supposed to be the who, what, when, how, and why. You're supposed to be the person asking the question and then continuing to ask the question till you get the answer that you think is real. So if you're cutting these things out, how are people supposed to trust you when it comes to other things? Yes, you're selling a book, but you're readily admitting, oh, she was a hero, and I cut it out because I didn't want it to be something else, and they don't really give a lot. You said I left the good question in. I never said you left the answer in. And yes, you do make editorial decisions based on time and certain things like that. I got 8 minutes. I got to get it down to 3. We do that every day. We'll interview several people. I got a finite amount of time. Here it is. But I'll tell you what, that finite amount of time, if somebody says something half-ass crazy, I'm leaving that in. I ain't cutting that out. You're trying to justify the fact, and both sides, like the right and the left, do it. But I don't even mean the right and left. I mean the Foxes, the MSNBCs, and the CNNs do it because you're playing to an audience. Here is your audience. My audience expects certain things. But as a journalist, your audience should be the people who want to consume truth. So if you are telling me believe you because of X, Y, and Z, because you're a journalist, you ethically, this is what you stand for. This is what you live by. And then to sell your book, you say, well, let me tell you the truth. You're not protecting a source. You're protecting a hero, and you're being more of an activist. That, to me, is questionable. I get it with Facebook, right? They've got agendas. I get it with the likes of Google. You're living in the left-hand side of the world, but you also realize the right-hand side of the world has money. But you want to serve one and be able to take from the other. So how do you balance that? But you're supposed to be a journalist. I expect that you're going to do journalistic-y things. By the way, Savannah Guthrie shot back at her, pushed back at her, which I think was good.
And that's why I raised it, because maybe I should have done the other sentence as well.
Let me push you on it a little bit, because she did make those comments. You said in the book that you wanted to protect her.
Yeah.
So that's not an occasion where you're using that objectivity that's so important to us journalists. And the question is whether that undermines journalism at a time when reporters are under attack for bias like that.
Yeah, they are. They are. They're under attack. In fact, to the point where if you go and look at their numbers, according to the last Gallup poll last week, 7% of Americans have a great deal of trust for the mainstream media. 34% have none at all. Adam Schefter last week. Nothing to do with politics in the way of COVID or here's a guy who reports on the NFL, who breaks news on the NFL, getting caught emailing GMs during a time of strike and contention between the players and the owners, and in his source, Mr. Editor, here's your unpublished source, a story for approval. Think about it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. But just think, if they're doing this, what aren't you seeing? And we've talked about that for years. It's the stuff you don't see that you should want to see, but you don't know about it because they're going to kill it. And not because we've only got so much time, but because this might go against some of the things that we're pushing, and in doing so could upend the apple cart. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Raycon. Best earbuds around. Love my Raycons. Wear them every time I'm working out, no matter what it is I'm doing, whether I'm lifting weights, whether I'm, playing, golf or whatever it is. I love my Raycons. Simple, easy, incredible feel and comfort like you could not believe. I truly love my Raycons, and I think you will love these too. In fact, they're giving you a 45-day happiness guarantee. No stems, no wires, better control for the sound, the best bass around without being ridiculous to the point where they drown stuff out. A charging case that gives you up to 4 full charges before you have to charge in it with wireless charging capabilities. A great microphone, so when you're making phone calls, they hear you, you hear them. Get your Raycons. They start under $70, and you're going to save big. I'm going to give you an extra 15% off. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. Get your Raycons now. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
Warning, no snowflake zone. Uninformed opinions are in danger of melting. The Chad Benson Show.
Foo Fighters will get by with a little help from a famous friend. Paul McCartney will be the one inducting the band into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The list of inductors and performers just out. Carole King will get 2 huge names inducting her, Taylor Swift and Jennifer Hudson, who will also perform. Tina Turner will be inducted by Angela Bassett, Drew Barrymore inducting the Go-Go's. No word yet who will do the honors for Jay-Z or Todd Rundgren. The ceremony will rock October 30th in Cleveland. You'll see it November 20th on HBO.
Oh, Todd Rundgren. He's a trip. I'm trying to think who would do Todd. I love Drew Barrymore and the Go-Go's. Like, that's great, and I'm so stoked the Go-Go's are going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because they hit it out of the park, and there was a flash, and it was quick, but damn, writing and performing and doing all the things they did back in that day was massive. So it'll be interesting. I'm always curious because you're like, sometimes like I would have thought like Tina Turner, like you're not in there? What? How? Wait, what? How could you not be in there? Well, it's because we have this weird thing. She just sold all of her rights too. I think for was it 50 million? So she sold all the rights, and I'm not quite sure what she owned and if Ike's family had some of it as well. But yeah, Tina, I know Tina. I think Ike and Tina are in the Rock and Roll. I just don't think she was in it. You figured she would have been. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. You know I love movies, but this last year and a half, 2 years has been crazy. Movies, sometimes they open, sometimes they don't. They move around. You're trying to position yourself. Now you're also trying to look out and say, who am I going to be competing with, and will we be in a position where we are full go for theaters?
And it's going to be a little while longer until we see Wakanda again. The Black Panther sequel, originally set to debut next July, now moving to next November. One of many moves made by Disney and Marvel for upcoming releases. The Doctor Strange sequel moving from next March to next May when the new Thor movie was going to come out. Now that's moving back 2 months. And the Indiana Jones sequel moving from next July to June of 2023. No official reasons for the moves, but the thought is that it's more to do with production delays than lingering skittishness over the pandemic box office.
Yeah. I think you look at all of that, you're just trying to position yourself. And Blumhouse and Paramount and everybody showed that you can, or Universal showed that you can simultaneously release something and it be a hit this past weekend because the Halloween franchise crushed it, even though you're looking at a position where they also released it on Peacock at the same time. So you can do both, and it can be successful. But like everything, it's got to be worth watching. And you have a built-in audience. So we'll see. But when you spend all that money on superhero movies as opposed to Halloween, which was $22 million, a little different. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. It's your Twitter. Have a great day. Go eat yourself some tacos. Night, night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.